Let's talk about air travel, specifically about going to the airport to board a plane. Whether you want to admit it or not, this is one of the most exhausting experiences a person can have. Seriously, going to the airport is a thankless task. You need to arrive early, go through all sorts of checks, and still hope that your flight departs on time, which, as many of you may have experienced, is not always guaranteed. However, have a bit of sympathy for the TSA, Transportation Security Administration. It's their job to check for illegal substances and the like, and although it may be a nuisance for them, it's even more so for you, especially when they find something unusual. Join us as we explore 20 of the strangest things found by airport security. Number 8. A gun in a chicken. That's right, we're starting strong. This is a recent story and proves that stupidity still exists in today's world, as if that were news. When going to the airport, there are items you definitely shouldn't try to bring without express permission. The biggest example of this is firearms. Of course, there are exceptions, such as antique guns that don't fire, or those you can transport with permission, as long as they are unloaded and properly declared. However, many people try to smuggle unregistered firearms to use elsewhere, which is why the TSA needs to be thorough in their search methods. Recently, at Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport in Florida, a person attempted to pass through security with a gun hidden inside a raw chicken. Specifically, it was a handgun wrapped in paper or plastic and then stuffed inside the chicken. It's unclear why the person tried to hide the weapon this way, but if you're trying to smuggle a gun inside a chicken, your intentions are probably not the best. More likely, they were just trying to use the chicken to avoid having the TSA inspect it. After all, who would want to stick their hand inside a raw chicken? However, TSA agents are trained to be diligent and meticulous, so tactics like this won't fool them. Number 7. Now, time for a special topic. You might think the chicken story is the most bizarre example of attempts to smuggle illegal items, but you would be wrong. As this image perfectly suggests, some people use their own bodies to try to pass items across borders. Before you ask, no, I don't know if this has anything to do with Kim Kardashian, nor would I care if it did. Anyway, the use of mules for smuggling has been around for a long time. You've probably seen this depicted in various crime dramas, as it's considered an effective method to carry things like drugs to other countries. The process is simple. The person in question places the items on their body via surgery, swallowing them, or more directly, hiding them in places where the sun doesn't shine. That way, they pass through security without issues, as what they are carrying is usually not detected by TSA methods. Once they reach their destination, the items are removed. Do you see the problem with that? You should. These people essentially become time bombs. If something goes wrong, the items can rupture inside them, flooding the body with various substances, which is not pleasant. So don't even think about trying that. Number 6. A gold wig. Let's think outside the box for a moment. Besides weapons and drugs, what else might people try to smuggle? Money would probably be your first answer, and you wouldn't be wrong. Money laundering is one of the biggest crimes in the world, and people often look for ways to move dirty money without getting caught. But if you try it, I suggest being smarter than a guy from India, who came up with the brilliant idea of hiding pouches of gold under a wig while going through security. It's unclear exactly how much the gold was worth, but the estimate was about 686 grams, equivalent to 24 ounces. At current prices, this would be about $43,000. A significant amount, without a doubt. But why would someone smuggle gold? It's possible that he wanted a better price for the metal and didn't think he could get that in his home country. Or maybe it was stolen, and he was just trying to escape before the real owners found it. Whatever the case, it's hard to understand why he thought a wig would help. Think about the basics. Gold is a precious metal, and metals are easily detected by metal detectors. Many large pieces of gold have been discovered with these devices in places like the United States and Australia. This means airport security would certainly be able to detect the gold hidden in the wig. And that's exactly what happened with this guy. Number 5. Must be the shoe. As I've mentioned, drug trafficking is still a reality in the world, and those involved are willing to go to great extremes to try to bring their products into the country. While it's true that large cartels use advanced methods, like personal submarines, many smaller organizations use people to pass through airport security. Not everyone is willing to carry bags of cocaine inside their bodies, so they have to be creative. In Mumbai, authorities received a tip-off that someone was trying to bring cocaine into the city. On high alert, they began carefully searching everyone passing through the airport, and to their surprise, they found a woman with cocaine hidden in her shoes. She also had more of the substance in her luggage, as clearly the shoes weren't enough. They tracked down the person in Mumbai to whom the woman was supposed to deliver the drugs, which helped dismantle the criminal network. I admit, hiding drugs in shoes is a clever idea for several reasons. Firstly, few would suspect that someone would hide high-quality drugs under their feet. Secondly, it's not the first place they check when inspecting a person. Lastly, if the product is well protected, it could literally be transported to the destination without raising suspicions. Unfortunately for these women and their criminal organization, the plan was thwarted, and they were arrested. Additionally, now that this story serves as an example, airport security, and possibly other places, will start checking the shoes of anyone who seems even remotely suspicious. On the other hand, this also means traffickers will seek even more unique methods to smuggle their products. Airport security can never relax. Number 4. Wheelchair. If you doubt that traffickers are becoming increasingly creative with their drug hideouts, here's the proof you need to see. In 2022, around 12.7 kilograms, 28 pounds of cocaine was seized by Customs and Border Protection agents at John F. Kennedy Airport in New York. The drug was hidden inside the wheels of a passenger's wheelchair. You might ask, why suspect a person with a disability? The answer lies in the details. The agents noticed that when moving the wheelchair, the wheels didn't spin correctly, as if something was weighing them down. First, they spoke with the woman to hear her version of events, but they didn't believe her story. Then they conducted an X-ray of the wheelchair, and as they suspected, there was something inside the wheels that shouldn't have been there. After testing, they confirmed that the contents were cocaine. The woman was arrested for importing controlled substances and handed over to Homeland Security investigations. And if you're curious about the value of the drugs, they were worth nearly $500,000 on the market. This was a significant blow to her supplier. Ironically, the plan might have worked if they hadn't overloaded the wheelchair tires. As mentioned, no one would suspect that a person with a disability could be a mule for a drug cartel. Typically, these people receive more sympathy, and security tends to be less rigorous with them. But due to the suspicious movement of the wheels, the TSA became suspicious, and that was enough to foil the scheme. I've already talked about guns, money, and drugs, but there's one more thing people have been caught trying to smuggle repeatedly: animals. At first, it might seem stupid and cruel, but this is a bigger business than you might think, especially when it comes to exotic animals. These creatures are sold for very high prices, which leads people to resort to extreme methods to bring them into the country where the sale will happen. In 2019, the police in the Philippines discovered 1,529 live turtles wrapped in duct tape inside abandoned suitcases at an airport. As suggested, these weren't ordinary turtles you find on a beach. They were rare and protected species, including star tortoises, red-footed tortoises, sulcata tortoises, and red-eared sliders. For some reason, the suitcases were abandoned after apparently being brought from Hong Kong. Maybe the person responsible forgot to pick them up or thought they were being watched. What we do know is that these turtles were highly valuable. In 2019, their market value exceeded $50,000 in the right market. Additionally, there was great demand for these animals. Today, the country is much better equipped to deal with animal traffickers, and committing such a crime can result in heavy fines and up to 2 years in prison. Of course, we're talking about turtles, but do you know how many people love these animals and want to keep them as pets? If they can get a rare species, even better. Never underestimate the power of greed that exists in the world. Number 2. Peanut butter. No one would have any issues bringing peanut butter into a country. It would have to be some pretty radical peanut butter to be considered illegal. However, what was inside a jar of peanut butter is what caught everyone's attention. At Pittsburgh International Airport, a TSA agent was inspecting a bag when something triggered the alarm. Initially, he couldn't identify what caused the alert, as it wasn't weapons, animals, or even packets of cocaine. When he reached a jar of peanut butter, which stood out among the items in the checked baggage, he decided to open it. Inside, he found marijuana. More specifically, he pulled out 3 vape cartridges containing marijuana, wrapped in plastic bags. There's some irony in this, as according to the person who tried to hide the drugs, it was for medicinal use. Still, the individual decided to hide it. As the TSA revealed, this was a bad idea because, although they don't intentionally search for drugs without a tip-off, once found, the police are called. This unfortunate decision landed the passenger in trouble. It seems sometimes you have to learn the hard way. Number 1. Snakes at the airport. In 2019, at Newark Airport in New Jersey, a girl had the scare of her life while in the TSA security area. A snake, approximately 38 centimeters, 15 inches long, appeared out of nowhere. Obviously, people got nervous, as it could have been a venomous snake. Fortunately, that wasn't the case, and everyone was fine. It's believed that someone tried to smuggle the snake into the airport, but somehow it escaped, wandered around, and ended up being discovered by the girl. First, that's terrifying, and they were lucky it wasn't a venomous snake. Secondly, snakes are animals that have been smuggled many times between countries. They can pass through security as long as they aren't wrapped in anything metallic. The TSA also stated that the person who lost the snake shouldn't expect to get it back anytime soon, which is probably for the best. Conclusion. These are some of the most unusual things found by the TSA and the places they were hidden. Were you surprised by how many people tried to deceive security? Do you think some of these people were completely foolish trying to pass with these items? Is there another story you think could belong on this list? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section. Also, check out other interesting things popping up on the screen, and we'll see you next time.